Well, hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay. We've been having some audio troubles and technical difficulties, but here we are. It's nice and warm in the studio. You guys are tuning in for Logotherapy. Jona, thank you very much. Okay, today's episode, we're going to be talking about two designers doing two logos. I got that mixed up, and it's today. So it's going to be Jelvin and Mihai. Jelvin, say hello to the people.
Hello. Good morning from Manila. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Jelvin. Nandito po sa Futur. Hello.
Woo! Yeah. Beautiful. There's some of Jelvin's work. He is a calligrapher extraordinaire, and he's back as our returning champion, as well as Mihai. Mihai, say hello to the people.
Salut la toți moldovenii și românii din lume. Mă bucur să vă revăd. Sunt Mihai.
Woo! This is going to be a really fun show. This is some of Mihai's work, you guys. I'll be slipping in and out of character. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm doing pitter-pat or something like that. So let's get right into it. We don't want to waste any more of your time. You guys, up first is the designer. I think I got this right. Mariana Pereira. I know yes. I butchered that. I'm so sorry. And this is your logo. It's for T Journeys. Jelvin, what you got for us?
Cool. So starting out with T Journeys, the reason why I chose this logo is because I really like the feel of it, and it kind of feels like it's hand-drawn. And if you see like the works downstairs, she actually made a couple of applications already. I mean, this is an actual product.
Oh wow!
So yeah, and it's actually a pretty good logo, but I think that we can improve it further. Yeah. So let's try to deconstruct the logo for a bit.
Okay.
So yeah, I tried to put some bounding boxes and the baseline and the cap height for the type.
Mm-hmm.
So if we try to look at things further, you can see that the baseline and the cap heights are kind of in an odd shape, considering like this letter T here.
Mm-hmm. It bows up towards the center left.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, center left. And if we look at it further, it's actually arranged like mathematically. It's not optically arranged, because if you look at the letter T on the left side, there's a ton of volume here
mm-hmm.
at the lower left part. And this is actually one of the things I wanted to point out is the layout. So one thing to remedy this is to actually just move the logo a bit to the right. And with the next iteration, like it's off center, but if you look at the overall volume on the left and the right, it actually it's kind of equal.
Yes, you're talking about optically balanced and not versus mathematical, and so we have to account for the space, the open counter underneath the crossbar of the T. So we want to shift the paper boat or hat, whatever that is, to the right.
Yeah.
Excellent work.
Cool. Oh, you thought this was a paper hat? Okay.
I don't know. Is that a boat or a hat or something? I don't know.
It's a boat. It's a boat. Yeah.
It's a boat. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about the project.
Cool. Oh yeah, the product is about tea. By the way, it's a tea originated from China.
Mm-hmm.
So I skipped the brief for a bit. So yeah.
Okay.
It's a tea product. Yeah. So yeah, moving on. So that's one of the things that I want to change. The next one is the scale. So I just went ahead and whipped up the golden ratio just to scale things up a bit so that it just has a reference for it. And
the old golden ratio.
Yeah.
You guys, I just want to give you a word of warning. Just because you use the golden ratio does not mean you're golden. It's just a guideline for proportions, okay?
Yep. And if we go to the next page, actually, I didn't really follow the ratio. It's more of me to scale both of the elements here. So yeah, this is kind of like the after. You can see that there's room for us to breathe when we're looking at the logo. It's not very cramped like the one a while ago. There's space between the element and the type. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one more thing that I want to modify a bit is the type itself. Like if you can see like the volume, the kerning between the J and the O, this part, it's kind of tight compared to the spacing here. and the spacing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, one of the things that I want to change is actually the spacing, kerning. So not too wide, just enough for the letters to breathe. Especially all of these are in caps, so um, you might have some feedback with the way that I'm trying to space the letters, but yeah, this is in general how I see things. Um, for example, this can go a little bit tighter, just because just because of how how this pairing shapes up. So yeah, like moving on. So this is like the before and after. You can see there, even the slightest change like gives a ton of impact. The one with the brown is the before, and the after is the actual work. So yeah. Um. So moving on, like this is like the before and after. This is like the yeah.
So on this attempt or this kind of critique or modification, I see that you're making very small adjustments this time around instead of just redesigning the whole thing, right?
Oh, that's the next phase.
Oh, okay. This is the phase. All right, let's get on with it then. Keep going.
So, like the thing that I want to point out here is that even with just a little, even with just subtle changes, there's a ton of difference that you can see, like the scaling. Like it, I think that the one after breeds more, even if we're just like manipulating the negative space. So yeah, this is like a couple of changes. Yeah.
Okay,
And
wait, hold on before you move on here. To me, the letter spacing between the T and the E still feel way too close relative to the A.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would adjust that to the left, and I like you moving the paper boat up north, but I think it's too big. It just feels like now it's dominating. I like the smaller size better. It's just maybe there's a combination where it's smaller but higher up, so that it gives you that breathing space. Okay.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to
definitely.
say. You don't have to do it. So I'm just saying.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the feedback. So yeah, like moving on, like one of the major things that I saw is the combination of the mark itself and the type. So if you can look at the type closer, it's actually pretty rough. Kind of looks like it's something that's hand drawn.
Yeah.
But if you look at the mark, it's pretty clean.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So
You need to rough it up.
yes, it's something that I kind of sketch on my kind of did some sketching on the side. So moving on to the second phase, like just gonna skip through.
There's
all of
another
these.
problem with it too. The back side of the paper boat, there's a very thin, narrow white shape. So when you zoom out, you can't even see it. So I would probably advise to work on that as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Either get
That's
rid of
actually
it or
what
add something.
it's one of the things that I tried to solve, but yeah. So yeah, let's start with the type first.
Okay.
So, since the logo is going to a more very hand-drawn feel, I kind of went ahead and did some sketches for the type. So just a couple of sketches to keep the vibes going. So these are some of the usually when I draft for type, it's usually in monoline just to see the layout, and then I try to supply the style after. So yeah, out of all of these layouts, I chose this one just for kicks. Yeah, and normally what I would do is to draw each and every letter, but for the sake of demonstration, I'm gonna hack my way through this and use something as a base font. Yeah. So
Okay. What typeface is this?
this is Windsor. Elongated.
Windsor.
Elongated.
Okay.
It's from Monotype, I think. Yeah. So yeah, the thing I'm gonna do is to modify just the T and the J, but normally what I would do is I would go through each and every letter and redraw these things. But yeah.
Okay.
So how do we go from this baseline, this type with a straight baseline to something like this?
Envelope distort.
Yeah, a little distortion. So what we're gonna do is to use the warp tool for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Warp tool is in effects, and warp. So to go to the shape that I chosen, it's actually flag. Yeah.
Right.
You can actually see in the options, it's already set because I set this a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go pretty drastic with it, or you can just go with the pretty standard 20% just for the effect. Yeah. So you can, as we can see, like the type is already warped, and my natural instinct is to actually redraw each letter because normally we wouldn't use like warp text, and I think it's something that I learned from Nils's course, that if you try to manipulate your letters, you have to redraw it just to make things more consistent.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know you took Neil's course.
I got the class.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah. One thing that I kind of encountered was when I was modifying this is when I use the outline tool, like the path is still the same with the one that's not unwarped. So one trick that I kind of discovered is instead of using the outline tool for text, it's to actually use the expand appearance. So what happens is instead of the original text being just outlined, it actually applies the change after warping.
Yeah, you didn't explain that too smoothly, but I got it.
Okay.
Basically, Illustrator
Yeah.
preserves the non-destructive type until you do expand appearance.
Yes.
Once you do that, you cannot edit the original ones and apply the same envelope or warp or flag distort to it anymore, right?
Yes.
All right.
Thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So, like I mentioned a while ago, that I'm gonna modify the T and the J, just for because if I just enlarge this, it's gonna look pretty weird, at least in my eye. And unless the typeface has a small caps font, I would use that. But in this case, it doesn't.
Right.
So I went ahead and like printed it out and drew some variations for this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I normally do, and as much as possible, I try to preserve the style of the text. But this is just one of those examples. So, let me try to.
So you're in
open it.
Photoshop now?
This is in Illustrator
Oh,
still.
this is still in Illustrator? Okay.
Yeah, this is just a scanned work that
Okay.
I have. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the expand appearance tool. So one hack that I kind of did is to actually just preserve like this top part, this serif up top, and moved it up a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
just to keep the style. And at the same time, this the lower part of the T, just drag it down while holding Shift, and then I would trace all of these. I would trace the swash here, like changing the bar to the swash, and enlarge this lower part here. So I'm gonna show the output later. If we can just go, if we can go next to the boat, yeah. Okay. So moving on to the boat, I'm not a very visual person, so I have to take like references whenever I do logos. So in this case, I had to like do a paper boat myself and outline the stuff, outline the actual logo into something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So comparing this this view of the paper boat compared to the one a while ago, I kind of wanted this to be more dynamic, and I wanted it to have depth. That's why I outlined the paper boat in
I
this
see.
perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You tilted
I
the
just-
boat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just added the tag just to be faithful to the original logo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And now I totally get the concept of the original drawing. Keep working, dude.
Okay.
Because a tea bag has a rectangular shape, and
Yeah.
and it has a little piece, a string, and a tag so that it doesn't fall in your cup and you can pull it out, kind of thing. So it's interesting where the original shape and form comes from.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So, like moving on, this is I just scanned the work and traced over it, so it kind of looks something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So from this scanned work, I trace it into something like this. So I just use the trusty pen tool. We love it.
The old trusty pen tool. It's
Yes.
very nice, the pen tool.
Yeah. Yeah. You just go through the lines and everything,
Yes.
and just the next step is for me to actually outline the paths again. So
Expand the
it's-
stroke.
Yeah, expand the stroke. So it's outline stroke. Yeah. And for me to combine everything, just go to Pathfinder and just use the Unite one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So a little trick that I did for the next step is to actually use the roughen tool. What I wanted to do was to preserve the kind of hand-drawn feel that the original logo is trying to exude. So this is a little bit tricky because it can go pretty haywire.
Mm-hmm.
So the tool that I'm using is roughen tool. So if you go to effects, go down to distort and transform and choose the roughen tool. Yeah. If you can see the preview, it's gonna go haywire because it's gonna you have to change the values to absolute. So when you say relative, it's actually relative to the percentage and how the element is. So if you use absolute, it's just gonna use the pixels. So I'm just gonna use 1px. I don't want it that rough.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna change instead of corners, I'm gonna go with the smooth setting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not gonna be that sharp. And yeah, I think 1 or 2 pixels is pretty okay.
A little
I think
subtle thing, not to overdo it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
pretty subtle.
I think that's a nice trick.
Yes, and let me just redo it. I think 1 pixel is enough.
Yeah.
It's very subtle. Smooth. Okay. Yep. So, it's like the one a while ago. As you can see, when I warp this thing, the paths still, how do you call this? It's still preserved. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Still editable.
yeah. So
Mhm.
we use the same technique, which is to
Expand the
yeah.
appearance again.
yeah
Yeah.
just to keep the settings.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So this is pretty much it for the logo and for the mark at least, and it's time for me to like combine both of them. So this is like the after of the type. Let me just close the palette. Yeah, the after of the type and like the after of the mark. So it's just a matter of playing things out, and like again, I'm just trying to use the ratio as a scale, and the final product is something like this. So I did my best to be faithful with the original logo, and I really wanted to exude this kind of hand drawn feel. If I had more time, I would have definitely drawn each and every letter and work on the mark itself. So yeah, here's a before and after, and I would definitely love some feedback if you have any.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a critique here, Jelvin.
Please. Yes,
Okay, in my normal voice here. So people are like, what's going on with Chris? Okay. I have some issues with this logo. Let's not cut to my face. I want to look at the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. I have a lot of problems with this right now, and I appreciate the whole journey that you took us on this tea adventure, but the thing is, I don't find that there's a lot of cohesion between the word mark and the symbol. I like all the changes you've made, but then I feel like these are from two different universes. Whereas in the original, it was more of a monostroke typeface, so that I can see that there's a single stroke, monostroke iconic drawing. I want to see those come together. I know you're very good at doing those kinds of monostroke logos as well, and I want to see those tie together. Let's zoom in a little tighter to your T journeys, your version, Jelvin.
Yeah.
Thank you. We want to be very careful when we're doing the crossbar, the horizontal strokes. They need to be vertically thinner mathematically than they are vertically, right?
Yes.
because they read. So now you can see the crossbar of the T. It feels a little heavy. It feels like it's unbalanced. It's going to tip over. And I know that you've modified the J. So you pulled it up and you created the, I don't know what that's called, the leg or the arm of the J to dip way below the baseline. What's it called?
The descender?
Is that a descender? Well, whatever that is, the hook part of the J, you dropped it down, so it really ties in together. This is like an old school way of treating lettering and typography, where you do a large initial cap letter. But Jelvin is absolutely right. You can't just scale it up because then those stroke weights are inconsistent, and it looks like you just scaled it up. So then it's important to draw. I got some valuable tips from watching you work, in that you'll actually start with a typeface, so you don't have to do everything from scratch, and then you'll just print it out and draw over so that you're not wasting your time and energy doing all that stuff. There's still some inconsistencies in here. Like it looks like TEA journeys. So I think we need to work on our letter spacing there, where optically it's feeling a little off to me. Okay? And maybe you give the space under the crossbar of the T a little bit more room to breathe a little bit. You know, because that's already feeling a little bit better. And maybe just for fun, can you modify the crossbar of the T so it's not thicker than the vertical stroke?
Give me a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just bring that down a little bit. Well, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So let's zoom back out. Okay. We got to work on that a little bit, because the ends don't want to be thicker than the crossbar itself. Yeah. So the left part of the T, that curl, that's a little bit heavy. Okay, I think that's good. So let's step back and let me do this, you guys. At this point in the game, at this point in the show, wait, let's look at both logos. Okay. All right. So you guys, let us know, what do you think? Did Jelvin improve it? Did you learn some tips? Which version do you prefer, the original or the new version? Okay. And let us know in the comments. Go ahead and say original or new version in the comments below right now. Okay, thank you very much, Jelvin. I would hit the applause button, but I'm too busy doing stupid. Oh, there it is. Good job. But I'm too busy doing stupid voices. Okay, let me go back to my deck here. And okay, up next is Alexander Pongo, and his logo is Traven. This is a pretty nice logo, I have to say. It's very balanced. So I'm crazy curious as to what Mihai is going to do with this. So Mihai, it is now your turn.
Give us 1 second. Jelvin, can you stop sharing your screen?
Jelvin, you're breaking protocol. Stop hogging all the screen time.
If we can get you to share, Mihai.
It's all good.
There we are.
Give us 1 more second.
We are almost back, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome possum.
People are confused about what voice you're impersonating here.
Hey, what if I just make it my own voice? PewDiePie! If PewDiePie had a child with Zimri, I guess that's what I would sound like. I just actually don't know either of their voices that well. They're just both a little goofy and fun. So we're going to have a little fun. Apparently, people on the internet want fun voices while they're learning. So tell us if it's helpful to you, or you prefer the straight robotic Chris.
Cool, so we got
All right.
Mihai.
Okay.
Ready to roll.
Okay. So hi everyone. I'm glad to be back, and I would like to congratulate Jelvin on the improvement of the logo. Very nice job.
Wow, so cordial.
So, yeah.
Very
So
nice.
my logo for today is from Alexander Pongo. He's a graphic designer from Ukraine. And his logo is called Traven. It's for travel app. And the main idea behind the logo is, we made up of the anchor and the pin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. The only issue maybe that I have with the logo, maybe it's a bit too minimal in my opinion, and that's what Alexander said. And he would envision the logo, by being a bit more modern, for an app. So I will try to do that, and at the end we can all decide if it's better before or after. So I initially started like I always do, by doing some sketches. I hope you can see well. So I tried to initially I tried to only to improve the idea that Alexander had, with the pin and the location mark.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my what I did in the beginning. I played around with this idea a lot, but then I realized it's not going in the right direction. Something felt not good, just to say it. And then I went back to my sketching book, and as I was drawing the logo, if you can see here, I have the anchor. Can you see?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, I have the anchor, and then as I was drawing it, I kind of envisioned, introducing the letter T and making it part of the anchor. So here's the more solid version, if I may, made with thick lines.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a rough sketch. And here's the actual process that went in behind the logo. This is the final logo. Actually, this is not the final logo, almost the final logo. And here, just like last time, I made a breakdown of my process and the steps that I took to create the actual logo and to get here.
Okay, before you move on, I like seeing this process, this evolution, and it's almost like you're like a robot. You do one thing, you try another thing, and then you keep advancing, equally spaced apart. And I love seeing that, because you can see sometimes it's deceptive when somebody shows you an original mark, or the finished mark, I should say, not the original, the finished mark. You can think, well, yeah, of course, he just drew it like that. But breaking it down like this makes it seem so attainable, right? And the whole point of what we're doing here at the Future and the Future Academy, which is where you guys are watching this live stream from, is to try to help to increase the conversation on design process, and show you how other people think through a problem. This isn't a beauty contest. This is not to say one is better than the other, because then we've lost the point. We're just here to try to show you options and educate you, and hopefully get you guys skill level up. All right, keep going, man.
I agree.
Good job.
It's about learning, and the main idea behind this breakdown is to show, as simply as possible how do you achieve a simple mark, because at the end of the day, a logo should be simple and should be. The creation process is pretty, sometimes complicated, but you should achieve it in a very simple way.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of. The first step that I did is I just took, the circle. I'm gonna take this circle. So it's just
a stroke.
Yeah, a stroke with let's say 30 pixel width.
Mm-hmm.
And then next step that I did was just to create an L-shaped path.
Mm-hmm.
Again with the pen tool. I'm gonna just take this one, but I'm going to show how can you achieve it. So just take the pen tool and draw.
Holding on shift?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Holding shift just to make sure your lines are straight.
Yep.
And then
I drop it?
Yes, press I on the keyboard. And
I for I drop?
Yeah. So I'm just going to take this one, this path right here, and make sure it's I'll switch to outline mode just to make sure it
intersects.
Centered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And next step was to round the corners of the L-shaped path. So kind of like so. We need to make sure we have this straight small line here.
Right.
I'll explain why in a bit. So the next step, I'm just going to take the hook that I drew. You can actually obtain this hook, by creating an circle.
Mm-hmm.
So just by pressing L from the keyboard and holding Alt and Shift, you can get a circle, and then you have to just play around with the angle. But this is for the Illustrator CC, I think, only, not for the older versions. So I'm just going to take my hook that I have already made and just make sure it aligns with our path here.
Mm-hmm. You still have not outlined that path yet, right? You've not expanded that
Yeah,
script.
yes, this is one of the next steps.
Okay.
So I need to move this hook down a bit. So I think it's 14 pixels. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so next step would be to expand what you just told, the path, our path, and to remove the unwanted parts right here. So we get a smooth, transition between the hook and the round part. So it's going to object, expand, and okay. And now I'll just select both of my parts and hit Shift M on the keyboard and just get rid of this part right here. So yeah, something like this.
Nice.
And the next step is what you talked about, for Jelvin. I don't know, maybe is it just me, but when I look at this rounded area right here, I kind of get the impression that it's thicker than here.
It's not just you.
So yeah, that's good. so I have showed here. This is the blue one is the adjusted version, and the cyan in the back is the original one. So I'm gonna do the same for our example. So I'll just select these points that I need, these 4 points, and go down. I'm doing just so people know, I'm doing this by judging visually.
Yeah,
so,
optically.
Yeah. So I found out that the best way is to go down at 3 or 4 pixels. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And in my opinion, it looks a bit. It's a very small change, but it does a lot for the optical balance of the logo. And then the next step would be to take these 2 points and then go
to the right.
To the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 pixels, and then again for these 2.
Yep.
So I kind of have a more balanced logo.
Yeah.
The next step would be I have to unite these 2 paths right here. Just select them, and from the Pathfinder menu, window, Pathfinder, unite. Now, next step would be to reflect the right part of the hook. So right-click, transform, reflect, or you can use the reflect tool, the one with O. I usually go with this. Doesn't matter. Just make sure
they align.
Align. Yeah, I have to do this manually. Get out of outline mode, and one of the last steps would be to add this.
The white space in between.
The offset path. The easiest way you can do this is by selecting your this path right here. Go to Object, Path. I missed it. Offset path, and I already have my value here. It's I used 17 pixels because if you go lower, it will not be visible at small sizes.
Right.
If you go any bigger, it will create, it will draw too much attention. So I found out that
before you click that button. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh no.
I was gonna say because I was just gonna say you guys click on the preview so you can kind of gauge the size. The numerical values that Mihai is giving you is relative to the size of his artwork. So each person, you're going to need to make your own adjustments based on how you look at this. Okay. So he just knows because he's done this before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just to give a small idea, you don't want to make the offset path, cross this circle. So kind of a small reference.
Okay.
But yeah, it depends on your size of your canvas. So next step would be to just cut off.
Minus the front.
By using exclude. Doesn't matter any of this, and just delete the.
There you go. Boom.
Yeah, and the next step and final actually is So I'll just place it here on my guides, and as we can see, it's not perfectly aligned. And I will just take my the cross stroke. I hope I got that right. I actually Googled. I don't know. Is it called cross stroke?
It is called the cross stroke. You're correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And yeah, this is the result. And below, I did some small mock-ups, by placing it into actual what do you call it? I usually do this for my clients just to show them how the logo works, together with similar apps, so they can, get a more general view of how the logo would work. Here's some font treatment that I did. I used a very clean and sans serif typeface.
Do you remember what typeface that is? Everybody always asks, so I want to make sure we have it right now.
I think it Nexa Bold, but I'm not very sure, to be honest.
Okay, that's fine.
And yeah, this is before and after. So this is it basically.
Great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've been able to create a mark. It's straying away a little bit from the original idea of the pin drop and the anchor, but I didn't even read the original as an anchor myself. So I just saw it as an arrow, and you've been able to create that anchor, and you've been able to add the letter T in there so it's a little bit more visible. So these are two very viable marks.
Yes, as I explained, I tried to go,
I'll put it inside the pin.
Same direction that Alexander did, but it didn't work. So when things don't work out, you just have to find another way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, excellent. Good job. Good job, everybody. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, I think let's put those two up on screen for a second. The critique I'm going to have for you right now is perhaps you just need to scale the T down a little bit, and your mark, just because I just want some breathing space.
Okay.
Generally speaking, if you give things a little negative space, it just feels a little bit more elegant. Okay, there.
Actually,
let's focus on
you're
that.
right.
Just on that. Let's do this. Let's put the original on the left-hand side, and let's put the new one on the right, so that we can then ask our audience who's tuning in to vote.
Okay.
Some people like
let's zoom in.
both.
Okay, let's center this up on the screen. All right, guys, let us know what you think. Do you prefer the original on the left or the new version on the right? Let us know. Type in your comments right now. Okay.
The clock is ticking.
Yeah, overall, I think you did a really good job. Again, another thing that I might cheat a little bit, I'm not sure, is that the counter, the negative space inside the loop of the anchor, at really small sizes might start to disappear on you. I don't know.
Yeah, so the thing is, initially I went with a bigger circle, but the main problem was when you looked at it, you were drawn, by the circle initially.
Yeah.
So I didn't want that. I want, people to look here and then go down. So the circle is just an element of the anchor, should not raise attention.
Okay. A couple other things that you might want to explore, and I've seen people do this in their marks, is they'll do a little negative shadow underneath the circle to kind of create some dimension and make it feel like there's some volume to it, so it's not 2D flat. That's just something to think about. Do you know what I'm talking about, Mihai? Yeah. We don't need to do that. I'm just throwing out some suggestions and things to explore for you guys. I think overwhelmingly people are saying the new one is the preferred one. So good job, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to mention here, because in the chat, a lot of people are very interested in the ideation and brainstorm process. So, Mihai, when you were thinking about this, I guess what other research went into your ideation process?
Mostly, I would say it was my experience that played, the most important role. So I advise everyone, to just let your creativity flow and experiment a lot. And also, if you have some colleagues, designer colleagues, ask for their opinion, and they will help. Don't try to do everything alone, because you will want to do almost everything. So try to ask people, try to show to people, maybe post some progress on social media, and they will help you.
Mhm.
But yeah, the idea just came, just like any idea, very very spontaneously, and yeah, I'm pretty happy how it turned out. I don't know for the audience, but yeah.
No, they're very happy about it. Here's a
Okay.
little thing that you guys can do. Here's a little hot tip. The hot tip is this, is when you're designing, try not to judge yourself too much because it can be paralyzing. When you design something, oh, that's not good, that's not refined,
Yes.
whatever it is. So don't do that.
Yeah.
What I would advise you to do, encourage you to do, is use the sleep on it rule. Design
Yeah.
something, design as many iterations as you want. You're in the groove, you're feeling like a creative genius, leave that alone. And then with fresh eyes the next day, look at it again. And sometimes you're like, wow, that's really good. It still is good after some distance. right?
Actually, you can also go for a walk. It always helps, when I work on something and you get, tired from looking at the logo and it seems like, desperate and you don't have any more ideas. I just leave my desk and go for a 30-minute walk. And when I come back, I always get something. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I don't get the final logo, but
Mhm.
I make a lot of improvements.
Yeah. And having a little objectivity will help you. I remember going
Yes.
to a color correction course, and the colorist told us that after 10 seconds of looking at an image, you lose all objectivity. You start to fall
Yes.
in love with it. You can't tell if it's warm or if it's cool anymore. And that's the thing. So he has to look away or switch images constantly because you think it's great. Okay, I want to answer a couple of questions. And then I want to also have you guys answer this question. From beginning to end, both Jelvin and Mihai, how long did it take you to do this entire process? Obviously, you've worked on this, so showing us in kind of like fake real time creates this illusion that these things can be done in minutes, and they can't. The first question I'm going to ask, though, is how am I doing the music? That's how I'm doing it. So this is what
Cool design, bro.
that's how we do it. That's on an iPad. Okay. So
Nice.
Jelvin and Mihai,
Nice.
how long did it take you to do your process beginning to end?
Jelvin, you can go first.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. So with mine, it's 2 to 3 days, give and take, like 2 to 3 hours, 2 to 3 days. That's the total time. I mean, it's a short. It's a
How many
short
hours,
project.
dude?
Probably 8 to 10 hours.
8 to 10 hours. So if he says 8 to 10 hours, it's probably about 14 hours. Designers classically misrepresent how many hours they worked on. So it took a little time. It takes some time to work on this stuff, to explore through the ideas. And if you knew exactly what you're going to do, it probably would not take very long to do at all. But you have to go through this whole creative process. And then Mihai, how about you? How long did it take you to do this?
Roughly, I think it was somewhere between 6 and 8 hours.
Okay, it's probably 35
with the
hours. No, I'm just
Exploration and preparation. And, yeah. So
Yeah, it took you some time. Okay.
One day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Are there any other questions that we
Yeah.
need to answer?
No, more comments, and they love the work.
Okay. Everybody's super happy, so I got to get my deck ready here. All right.
I need to
So,
stop sharing my screen.
yeah, you can stop sharing.
Okay, thanks.
So, Jelvin and Mihai, thank you very much again for doing this. And if you're watching this channel and you happen to work for a manufacturer that makes camera equipment, microphones and things like that, we would love to have you as a sponsor so I can send every logo therapist a kit so that they can improve their video live streaming game. Okay? Just throwing that out there to the universe. Everybody knows somebody at Sony, Canon, Logitech, Rode, Shure, whatever. Let them know to watch this channel and say, hey, we could be helping people out and get some free airtime. Okay, that's it, you guys. If you're having a little case of the fear of missing out, make sure you guys follow us on Facebook. It's at The Future Is Here. And then go ahead and submit your logos. We now have 3 teams of logo therapists picking through the logos and then doing their magic, and soon to be a 4th team. So if you guys like this episode, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell. I want to send a big shout out and just a little note of appreciation to all our sustaining members. Thank you very much. You guys know you are. You're part of the donation. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Guys, stay warm. We are. See you guys on the next show. Next show.
Bye.